Hey guys, and welcome back to another flashlight review. Today we're going to be looking at something a little bit different from my other flashlights. This is the Sofirn SF16, and it's a pocketable UV flashlight with surprisingly decent output, especially when you compare it to those smaller ones. You know, you got those keychain flashlights, keychain UV flashlights. Let's just run on a little button cell, basically those little watch battery cells. You know, you get the ones that are a bit better, the AA powered ones, but you know, compared to something like this, you know, at the end of the day, this is a proper high powered UV flashlight. And until now, all I've been using are those AA powered UV flashlights. So when I found out that Sofirn had a dedicated 18650 host with a proper UV LED in it, I just had to check it out. Sofirn has sent me this sample of the SF16 for review on this channel. And one thing I like about Sofirn is that they are budget and beginner friendly. So you pretty much get everything you need in the box and for a reasonable price too. They'll let you know what LEDs they're using at times, the drivers, the construction, everything like that is pretty transparent. You don't get that with a lot of those budget flashlights. So a few things you can use the light for, and I'm going to demonstrate this as well, but you can use it to detect things like stains, curing UV glue. I've used that for attaching tritium vials onto some of my flashlights, document verification if you're in security, detecting minerals, especially in rocks and leaks. You can use it for synthetic materials as well, detecting bits of fibers, especially those fluoresce under UV light, glues. And I noticed before as well, lubricants as well. You know, when you got some of this lubricant on the end of the flashlight, that also fluoresce, and also some insects do fluoresce as well. And one of the things I really make sure is that when I'm using this flashlight up close, I do wear safety glasses, especially when I'm using the light for extended durations. It gives me a headache, nausea looking at that reflected light. That definitely can't be good for you. And that's with any sort of UV light though, but you do have to be extra careful with a high powered one like this. So here are some of my other UV flashlights, and this one here is the Tank 007 UV 330, and as you can see, tiny little light powered by a AA cell, and you know, only produces a fraction of the total output that you get with the SF16, and also has some decent throw, if you can even call it throw, but long range usage as well, because there is a smooth reflector inside. Okay, there's this filter on the top which filters out visible light, but you'll see what I mean when I use it in some of these demonstrations afterwards. And of course, here's a keychain light that has a UV light here on the side as well, very small little UV light. This is actually a much better keychain flashlight than a lot of others, but you see those cheaper ones out there, they might cost you about $5 to $10, and they actually use 395 nanometer LEDs in there, which produce a lot of visible light, unfortunately. The box that the SF16 comes in, really basic sort of box. It's just got these Sofirn details and stuff like that. It's got the name of the UV, SST-08 UV, really basic inside. You get a lanyard. You also get some O-rings, spare O-rings. You get an instruction manual, really basic sort of instruction manual, and you also get a USB-C charging cable. So everything included. Oh, and of course you get the 18650 Sofirn branded battery in there as well. Okay, and I'm not sure if this is a high drain cell, but you're not going to need one for this light because it pulls less than 1 amp. Close up of the SF16, just to show you the finish, and really quite impressed with the machining, especially at this price point. And the first thing I noticed was that it's less glossier than a lot of my other Sofirn lights. It's more of a matte black, and the anodizing is grippier as well. Really interesting, and I would like to see Sofirn use this finish on a few of the other flashlights. I find that the kind of shinier stuff, glossier finish is a little bit slippery even with the knurling, but this one is fantastic. And yeah, like I said, the machining is great quality. It has a tactical style design. If you look at it, it's got a tail switch on the back. Okay, but it does remind me of a lot of tactical lights that I own. And, you know, one of the things I like is that it's just so simple and downplayed. You've got this clip on the back here, and I like the clip. It's very rigid and looks better, feels very strong. When you compare it to a lot of other Sofirn clips, like on the SP35, on the SC31 Pro, you know, the rigidity just isn't there with those clips. Sometimes you put it in your pocket, pull it out too hard, and the clip actually comes off, or you even bend the clip at times. But this one definitely feels stronger. It's got a nicer design as well. Kind of reminds me of the one from Phoenix. Little bits of knurling here on the side of the battery tube, the cutouts on the head. I think that was done very nicely, simple and effective. You've also got a USB charging port here on the side. Okay, that's why I say it's beginners friendly. Don't get that with Convoy. A lot of Convoy flashlights, and nice little crenulated bezel here as well. You can see here under the bezel there is a little lens here, and this lens actually filters out any visible light that's produced by the LED. And I actually took this off. I'll show you what it looks like underneath, and used it without it, and even then it doesn't produce a whole lot of visible light because it's rated at 365 nanometers. Okay, very basic sort of reflector in there. It's just a smooth aluminium reflector, and that's actually really helpful, especially when you're using this light long distance to identify something. You really can't use any of these smaller lights for that. They have to be used up close, like this one, this little one here. Okay, or even a keychain one. Okay, that's the SST-08 UV. Kind of looks a little bit like an SST-20 size-wise. Decent heat sinking there as well. Companies out there produce these very cheap UV flashlights. You can find them everywhere on eBay, and they come in these kind of 3 AAA style configurations, sometimes with a whole bunch of smaller LEDs, and they're all usually use 395 nanometer LEDs, and those just produce way too much visible light, make everything look purple. Not worth it in my opinion, but if you're looking for a cheaper one just to identify documents, yeah, they do fine. But you know, the SF16, it doesn't have that issue at all. You can use it for a much wider range of purposes, and when you're using the SF16 on objects that fluoresce, the effect is much more obvious than when you're using a 395 nanometer LED. You actually need less output, and it still produces a lot more fluorescent effect. Basically just 3 modes, and you switch the light on by full press, okay, and then you basically half press to switch from low, medium, high mode. Okay, full press again to switch off. Let's try this out on a few objects. Here are a bunch of objects that I have. These are just some minerals and specimens that I have, and you can see here this is just the lowest mode, and it's fluorescing this ammonite quite vibrantly. It looks more vibrant in person than on camera. Okay, this is the medium mode, then you've got the high mode here. You can see some of these minerals as well, they also fluoresce a little bit. This kind of warmer orangey yellowish mineral there, I'm not even sure what that is, but that glows, so it can help you to identify some of these minerals, deposits of them. This one just turns a electric blue color, difficult to see here on camera, but it's actually a really pale sort of gray color without the light. And here as well, another rock. Charge up charge up the loom, glow-in-the-dark bits for watches and for some of your other tools and things like that. Okay, you actually see on the desk as well, like you can see just some of the stains and bits and pieces of stains, and also dust. And often a lot of the dust, especially if you've got synthetic clothing, when it comes off the clothing, it actually fluoresces. So you can see little bits of dust and things as well as the sort of stains. I've got the Sofirn SF16, and just activate it. Over here you can find there's some sort of residue. It's good at spotting synthetic compounds, glues, bits and pieces. As you can see here, I don't know why, but there's like a nice, but there's like a splatter of something, and then there's a bit of the wall missing. Okay, you have a look at the graffiti as well. Notice that kind of when I go over the top of the graffiti with the flashlight, changes color, kind of just reflects back this, I don't know, just reflects back this sort of lighter color, even though it's darker. But yeah, it's this stuff here which is pretty interesting. It's really glowing. I don't know what it is. Hard to really see it. It looks like they're just bits of, I don't know, it could be bits of insulation or something. But when you take the light away, you can't really see it. Okay. Down to this little area here. There's another, look at that, there's some kind of stain there. On the wall. Paint maybe. And this is interesting because it looks like there's maybe some old graffiti behind there. You can just make it out, but it's been removed. But you can still see part of it left behind, the kind of residues. And here's something cool. If you look at these pipes, I don't know if you can find it here, but you can kind of put it onto the joins and see the glue, bits of glue, but can't quite see it here. Might have to go have a look at another one. And this, look at that graffiti as well, again just reflecting back this sort of lighter colour. Where did I see it before? Yeah, so here's that funny kind of residue. Just to make sure I'm holding the camera alright. Funny sort of residue. There'll be a bit of motion blur on the camera because I'm using my phone and it is difficult to record this under low light conditions. There you go. As you can see in the middle of those pipes, the glue has it fluoresces. See? A kind of yellowish colour in the joins. You could potentially spot leaks. Yeah, I wonder what this spotty sort of residue, where that's sort of coming from, and why is it? Yeah, this is kind of fun. There it is. So it could be coming from there. Nothing else there on the wall. Here we go. There's some more of this residue. Looks like it could be someone take a leak there or something. But look at that. some kind of extra graffiti there that's fluorescing above everything else. Broken light up the top. So I'm wondering why this light isn't turning on. It should turn on. That's what I mean, this kind of paint here. It's also good, yeah, you can see here, bits of paper and plastics as well will pick up under the 365 nanometer light. Here around the edges of this window. Yeah, it's kind of weird. This is like an underground car park, but there's nothing in it. There's not even a single car in here. Now, something I noticed as well just here on the ground, this is what I was talking about. So plastics will fluoresce, and this is this looks to be like one of those things that you clip onto clothing. So someone's brought some, it's from the shop, so someone's brought this over here and stolen something. It's leaking some stuff around. I know some of them are filled with ink. I don't know if this one is. Let's pick that up quite well. Cobwebs also, funny enough, do fluoresce a bit. Now, I don't know what this is, but there is a whole underground space in here through this window. If I grab my other torch out, I should be able to just see better. Jeez. Yeah, it's like another parking bay, but there's no one in it. Nothing in it at all. Like an old building. Windows been smashed out. I really wonder what these old buildings were intended for originally. Just trying to like get in there a bit more. It doesn't actually look too old. You can see some of these ducts there, they look pretty new actually. The building itself is pretty old though. And here again you can see that it's picking up this bits of old paper and stuff all the way through the back of the building. And it just goes to show that this smooth reflector, like it throws a light, the UV light, pretty far, but I just can't see it. But in a completely dark space like this, works quite well. Oh, what's that? There's something on the roof as well, kind of an orangey thing. You can see there. Here's another example of something that shouldn't be here. There's bits of plastic. Yeah. Gonna follow it down here, you find one of those other tags, one of them clothing tags. Force removal will release ink and may cause injury. So you can actually see the ink in there. It fluoresces under the UV light. And there you have it. That's the other the other tag there and there. Another one. Some ink. This little cover here, not sure what it is, but it's also marked with a bit of glue or solvent. Take it away and it disappears and just lights up this orangey colour. What is it? MGC, something like that. Just CG, MGC, CMG. And over here I've found some kind of writing that looks like an arrow pointed to the right. .850 long. All this stuff that you find in the corners is just debris, man-made plastics and rubbish basically that just shouldn't be there. Fluorescers. Yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't know much about building and construction, but it has probably something to do with the building once upon a time, I guess. 3.410. Don't know what this says. More old bits of writing. So here's a cool little function. You can find these sort of spots where cars have been patched up, like a different density of paint or whatever, not the original coat of paint. So there's been some damage there to the car. I'll go over here, have a look at the, see? Seems there's another bit of damage there on the front of it as well. But it's all been patched up, so when you take the UV light away, you can't even see it. It's interesting because the UV light has a bit of spill, and that's where you pick up some inconsistencies. Something here as well. I wonder what happened to this car. It's a bit of damage, but in just some odd spots. Here's something interesting. This door is a different color, a different paint. It doesn't fluoresce the same as that door. So this door has probably been replaced. Again, here you can see the same sort of deal. When you take the light away, you really can't tell. It looks the same color. But closer up, you can see that is reflecting back darker than this door. So this car's probably been in some kind of, I don't know, it's been some kind of serious accident maybe, or yeah, I'm not sure, because before it was the back door, now this is the front door. It has a different color. Found this little alleyway. Just go down the end and see what's there, use the UV light and maybe my other torch, another tactical torch as well, because it's probably not going to be bright enough to see what's there, what's going on down there. So something's been poured in there.
some type of fluorescing liquid. Could be organic, could be like a chemical, something like that, a solvent. Okay, let's have a look. You can see here already, like it's funny, like the spill of the LED actually picks it up, and then you train. And you just sort of focus in using the hotspot. Nothing much really. Nothing much going on. The pipe here. Okay, here we go, something on the wall. There's really not much light back here. I can't see a whole lot. It does smell a bit funny too. It's kind of like moldy sort of smell. Let's keep going down the back. Here we go. Light on. Probably go right down the end. Got some material here in the ground that's just, it's like plants and stuff fluorescing. Yeah, nothing to see. Let's have a closer look. Looks abandoned for a long time. Gates locked. Restricted access. Let's go around the other side. I don't know what's this about. So a bunch of locks. Combo lock. Some of it glows, fluoresces more than the other bits. Yeah, it's funny how even like bits of grass and stuff, it actually fluoresces better. And the paint itself, or the bricks, you go.
Alrighty, we're back now. So, I normally go through considerations, and for once, I really struggled to think of any with this flashlight. The SF16 is priced so well as it is. It comes with everything ready to go straight out of the box. Of course, there's other alternatives from other companies such as Convoy, and they work pretty well too, but they don't come with a battery or a charger, charging cable, stuff like that. So, you know, when you're new to flashlights, or if you just want a package that's just ready to go, easy, you know, even on the go, easy to charge on the go, you know, you really can't go past the SF16. And the performance and price is so similar when you're comparing other alternatives as well that don't have these additional features. So for me, it's a no-brainer. I think the SF16, the Sofirn SF16, would be a great choice for a relatively powerful UV light, especially for beginners. So if you're interested in getting the Sofirn SF16, check the link in the description. I'll have a special discount link available. If you have questions about the light, let me know in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And if you enjoyed the video as well, do me a favor and like the video, share it with a friend that might be interested, because that really helps my videos to get out more, helps me continue doing what I'm doing. It doesn't cost you a cent. And if you enjoy the videos and you want to keep up to date with the latest flashlight reviews and news, make sure you subscribe.